Hi, it's Brandon here, and today I'm going to show you how to design a phone stand in the fully integrated online 3D modeling application, SelfCAD. For this design, there's going to be a base where the phone sits, a lower platform to hold sticky notes, and a slot to store a pencil. That way, whenever I receive a phone call, I'll be able to jot down notes without having to look for something to write with. So without further ado, let's hide the finished model and start with the basic cube. In the top left, we will select a cube from the drop-down menu. We will then use the sliders to alter the dimensions of the cube to match our design. A width of 80, height of 10, and depth of 90 will provide a stable base for our stand and be big enough to hold a stack of sticky notes. We will then create another cube for the vertical component. Here, the width will stay at 80, but the height will change to 120 and the depth to 10. These measurements are derived from the dimensions of my phone, but with SelfCAD's intuitive tools, you could easily adapt this to fit your own device. Now this looks pretty good, but for this design, we will need to move the vertical box by 40 millimeters to align it with the back edge of the base. This will give us a nice and neat corner, and with that, we can hide these two elements and start the design of the phone shelf. For the shelf, we will start off with yet another cube. The width will remain at 80, but the height will be changed back to 10 and the depth to 160. We now have the basic shape, but we will need to add a lip on the front end to make it functional. To start, we will create a cylinder. For the dimensions of the cylinder, we will have a top and bottom radius of 10. The height will be 80, but it is important to note that this will become the width once the cylinder is rotated 90 degrees. To rotate the cylinder to align with the box, we will adjust the Z rotation value to 90. Next, we will move the cylinder in the positive Z direction by 80 millimeters. This will set up the lip on the end of the box. To get a square edge for the phone to rest on, we will need to create another cube of width 80, height 20, and depth 10. We can then move this forward by 75 millimeters to align with the cylinder. For clarity's sake, I'm using the toolbar here, but many of these operations have shortcuts, like the M key for move. I'd recommend learning these hotkeys to optimize your workflow. The next step will be joining these three elements together. We will do this by first selecting all three objects and running the stitch and scoop command. In this case, we will be using the union option. We now will create a hole in the lip to hold a pencil. A slightly smaller cylinder with top and bottom radius of 5 and height of 100 will be used. The Z rotation will stay at 90. To align the smaller cylinder with the center of the larger one, we will move it forward 80 millimeters and up 5 millimeters. This will set us up for another stitch and scoop operation, but this time we will select difference. The cylinder will be selected as the object to subtract. Once applied, the phone shelf and pencil compartment piece is finished. At this point, our model is almost complete. We will just have to unhide our earlier boxes and move the parts into their final positions. The part that needs the most adjustment is the platform for the phone. To start, we will rotate the platform by -60 degrees about the x-axis. Now the phone will be held at an angle as opposed to laying horizontal. Finally, the form is taking shape, but we're not done. To get clearance for the post-its, we will move the phone platform up 30 millimeters. This will work, but to make the front nicer, we will align the front edge of the base and the platform. This will be done by setting the position of the platform to -4 millimeters on the Z-axis. It's a small change, but I would say it makes a big difference. Next, we will bend the horizontal part into the platform. Here I am locking the base piece to make the operation easier. The bend command is under the deform tab. With our part selected, we will try and drag the bottom arrow until it merges with the platform. Sometimes the piece will be too rigid and not create a smooth curve. To fix this, we can do a quick bump of the resolution of the piece to get a softer curve. Now when we bend the part, it is more rounded. I chose a Z value of 25 for the bend, but this curve can be anything you'd like. Now it's time for the final step. All we have to do is select the three parts and join them together using the Stitch and Scoop's union command. After we do this, we will have one solid and watertight model that is ready to be 3D printed. And that concludes the modeling tutorial. I would say it looks pretty good, wouldn't you? The last thing to do is to print the model and use your design. To do that, SelfCAD has integrated a slicer into the software, making it a one-stop shop. Clicking this 3D Print tab will open up a slicer that can be set to your preferred settings. Once that's done, export the G-code and you're on your way. And that's all for me for now. Thanks for watching this tutorial and have fun creating.